Right. Apologies. This fluctuation, of course, is based on the gremlins that are part of technology, and we have absolutely no control. What we have control over is this particular discussion, which really we don't have control over because Stephen has taken over and now is speaking the truth about some of the things that we would turn a blind eye on or frown upon. 10-year vegetarian activist, former journalist, author, uh, currently writing a book on art of eating, professionally trained as an accountant, permaculture farmer. And he's with us here talking all things vegetarian and veganism. We have another vegan who should be joining us in a short while. And we'll find out what his biases are as well and talk more on this healthy debate, so to speak. Andre is still a meat eater. I've decided to choose a different lifestyle. Where do we go from here? We'll come back in a short while, talk more. Hashtag amped with Andre Mapu. And tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. As you're listening, send some makalos. We love people who send makalos. We love those types of people. Hit us up. Good morning.
That girl, for me want a girl like you, pretty for peace of mind. Wondering where is this joy to find? I blind to love around, and was deaf to the sound of life. Like Paul on his way to Damascus. My life was in a fracas, and suddenly, oh, did I feel the power on me? Like a light so.
Check 1, 2, 3, check 1, 2,
So now I feel the Lord in my head. He showed and knees and toes. He has eyes, nose, and mouth. Head, he showed and knees and toes. Knees and toes. Head, he showed and knees and toes. He has eyes, nose, and mouth. Head, he showed and knees and toes.
2, 3,
knees and toes. Me have to look for peace of mind. Wondering where is this joy to find? I was blind to the love around, and was deaf to the sound of life. Like Paul on his way to Damascus. Ooh, my life was in a fracas.
No, so you let the song end just because I sang happy.
So bright, so bright, so bright. Me have to say, head he showed and knees and toes. He has eyes, nose, and mouth. Head he showed and knees and toes. Knees and toes. Head he showed and knees and toes.
What were they called again?
The group was called SITA. SITA.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. I was just waiting for Henry Mutuku to check in, and we had a full set.
But Kamisa.
And then after that, we have the Jamaican guy, that song that you like. I can't remember.
Which one?
That gospel track. You know it. You
Brent
play that
Jones.
gospel track. Huh?
Brent Jones or something. There's
yeah.
Yes, Brent Jones.
This is exactly how everyone talks to a DJ, by the way. Dan, 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 you will know it. Hashtag I'm to the Andre and Mako. It's all things vegan, and we're talking to our guest Stephen Mbuthi, who has shocked the entire system and our audience. But we're loving it because at the end of the day, being honest is part of what this show is all about. Part of talking things that a lot of people are avoiding to talk about is what this show is all about. As well as we try and alleviate the suffering that is going on at the moment. Everyone is up in arms about one thing or another. What we try and do on this show is to try and give you a sense of purpose at the very least. Give you some hope and optimism to carry through the week. And that's what we do here on hashtag Amped with Andre. And also, we really appreciate everyone who sends in even a dime on 07419 77655, because it goes a long way. You don't have an idea how much it really does help. This show, for instance, today was sponsored by nothing but the good will of the Lord. For the bundles might have ended at some point, but thanks to the grace of other people out there, we're still going on. Small things. So this is a time to appreciate the small mercies. This is a time to appreciate those small things that you go and just, it's unnoticed because it's such a small thing. Those are the ones that are making a difference right now. And to anyone, we keep on insisting that you know what, right now, it's a very interestingly tough time for a lot of people. Not because of anything, but the fact that we've tied our happiness into material things and we don't have the material things at the moment sets you to believe that you're not worthy, you're not good enough, you're not this, you're not that. And you can basically carry on your life without having a second thought about these material things, without having the pressures of society. One of the things that, of course, pushes us to have one of those thoughts where depressing thoughts is, I don't have, is, true or not, food. It makes such a huge difference when you see people on Instagram posting up food and whatnot, all these amazing dishes, and you cannot afford. I've had a crack at Andre and Joe Mushiri once in a while, and I'm like, you can't do that. But on the flip side, they have to survive because they have to advertise and get coins. So it's a very interesting time, topsy-turvy when you look at it. But all in all, it's time to bandy up together and actually help one another. Another ways that we're helping each other is looking at our diet as well. Health is something that is really, really huge at the moment. Not everyone has insurance, health insurance. Not everyone has access to good medical covers. So what you do is prevention, which is always better than cure. What's the best prevention? Well, apparently it's going plant-based, and that's why Stephen is with us today. And Stephen, I remember 2, 3 days ago, I prompted you and asked you about, some of the things that I can eat. But one of my caution moments was that a lot of vegan foods, or rather what we think vegan foods are very expensive and you can't find them. This isn't true, is it?
No, not at all. Vegan basically means plant, and plants are everywhere. I go to any market, that's a standard, that's a basis. Where that misconception comes from is actually the West, because I had a meeting with a few Americans, specifically from New York, and they told me that an organic apple is more expensive than a burger in New York, right? So you find, yeah, exactly. So that's what happens. I watched a documentary recently where the family was going for breakfast to McDonald's and everyone getting a burger, and the entire cost of the meal, I think, was like, a few dollars. But the lady explained that if she went and bought vegetables, the vegetables would be more expensive to make a meal than everyone getting a burger, right? So in the West, that's true, because their veggies are very expensive. And partly this is to do with the fact that a lot of their land, especially in America, is used to grow what they call corn or maize, to basically make animal feed, right?
Yes.
They have massive feeding lots. So they're using resources that could be used to grow vegetables and normal food to feed cows, and it's just horribly unsustainable. And that goes back to what you are saying. A lot of people go without food because we want to eat a burger, right? If you want to eat a burger, then that means we have to feed a cow, we have to give it meat. It takes up so much land. So part of the reason why it's not good to eat meat is that you're actually depriving other people of the resources to get affordable veggies, and
And but that isn't as bad here in Kenya. And when we say organic, it can be something that you pluck out of your shamba, is it?
Again, going back to the book I'm writing, The Art of Eating, it explains a bit about Kenya. We have very few organic farmers. 99% of the food you find in Kenyan markets has been doused in pesticides and all manner of chemicals. That's why I'm personally doing something called permaculture farming, which is imagine a forest, right, with all the different varieties of plants and foods. No one takes care of it, no one waters it, no one does anything. But now, instead of a forest, imagine every plant there is something that you can eat. It's food. So that's a very different way from what current farming practices follow, because what they do is monoculture. You have rows and rows of the same crop.
Yes.
When you have rows and rows of the same crop, it forces you, the insects, like what we found with the locusts invading, the insects know how to home in on a particular plant. So let's say they love lettuces. So they find a whole field full of lettuces, then you have the problem of insects. Then you have to use chemical, pesticides. So that's the current situation in Kenya. People don't actually eat organic. They think it's organic because we're in Africa and but it's not organic. I've traveled a lot in Kenya, and in every small town and village, you'll find what are these called? Agrovet.
Yes, agrovet.
Selling chemicals. When I started farming, which is probably like 5 years ago, all the farmers in my area, when they heard that I wasn't using fertilizers and chemicals, how? What do you mean? There's no way you can farm like that. My retort was that before all these companies, came about, people were still farming, right?
Exactly.
So there is nothing you're telling me that I have to buy anything to farm, And currently, now a few of the farmers, now going back to this organic debate, a few of the farmers actually come to buy their food from me. They farm the same things I farm, but they've realized, wait, this guy is farming organically, he's not using chemicals. They use chemicals, but they've seen the difference and they come and buy their food. You know, they'll sell, and even if you've gone to the organic farmers market in Karen, they'll tell you that a lot of farmers will grow en masse for the population for sale food without caring what they're putting in. You know, it's just business for them. But for their family, they'll have a bit of a portion that they don't put any chemicals, they don't put fertilizers, right? So that's the current, and that's why I'm very encouraged, as I was saying, the silver lining in this coronavirus pandemic is that a lot of people have now started to grow their own food. You know, on Instagram, there are lots of people setting up, you know, even balcony gardens, you know, growing their own. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's very good because I have a fundamental dislike for corporations. You know, because we were taught, I was taught in business school that the reason a business exists is to make profit, nothing else, you know. And they'll do that by hook or crook, you know. And that's what, basically, when you trust corporations with your food, you trust corporations with the narrative in the media. I used to be in media and, you know, they'll invite you to a trip somewhere, they'll make your life very wonderful. Yeah. But at the end of the day, they'll give you a press release, which is what you're supposed to say.
Just say how good it is.
Exactly, you know. So a lot of Kenyans don't actually eat organic food, right? Just because you bought it in a village market doesn't mean it's organic.
Awesome, awesome. Listen, we've gone on about the idea, but we haven't gone into the benefits. And as we've got about a couple of many minutes to finish up, and we're still waiting for our other guest. The thing is this: what are the benefits? What are the immediate benefits of deciding to go all plant-based?
Okay.
And something that you started about 10 years ago. So what are the immediate things that you can appreciate once you go vegan or vegetarian immediately?
The first, very, very first benefit I noticed. Hello?
Go on.
The very first benefit, and you can scour the internet forums for this, you start feeling lighter on your feet. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. It's almost like you're floating, right? And it's a feel-good feeling. It's in very few days you start feeling very light in your body, very peaceful, and it may seem a bit of a stretch, but I did a bit of research on this, again, in the Vedic literature, as they explain that because eating meat is fundamentally a violent act, you have to kill it. There's no question of eating meat without killing an animal, right? When you talk of nyama, nyama has to come from a mnyama. You know, you have to kill the mnyama to get the nyama. Yes. So it's a fundamentally violent act. And there's a reason why we don't see the act, because it's depriving an animal of its life. There's blood, it cries and all that. And it's a negative, you know, when we say you are what you eat, you're ingesting the negativity that comes with the killing of that animal. And
that's one of the things that has actually been pointed out spiritually in terms of not eating meat because of the stress and the trauma the animal goes through. It's transferred, really.
Exactly.
And that's why we have so much anger.
Exactly. So now, once you ingest the meat, now it takes part of your life. And I was reading a few months back, there was an issue about what they call abattoirs or slaughterhouses in the UK. And the people who work there, they are suffering psychologically because every day you're just killing animals. One guy was talking about how he cut open a cow and the calf came out. There was a calf in the cow and he just started screaming because, you know, he couldn't process it. So once you ingest meat, it makes you violent, it makes you edgy, it makes you ignorant of the suffering of other animals. One of the things I have an issue with is all these so-called animal lovers, right?
Yeah.
You'll find someone has a dog or a cat, and they consider themselves, oh, I love animals. But at the same time, the guy is eating a chicken, or a goat,
Let me just throw that to Polycap. Of course, absolutely no introduction, Mr. Polycap Otieno, part of the world amazing, talented band that is Sauti Sol, and inspired, of course, this topic from Stephen and Polycap, who together with his wife, vegan. And Polycap, we've been talking about the whys and the hows. When did you start, and what was the why for you? Why you decided to go vegan?
Good morning, everybody. Good morning.
Morning. You look fresher and healthier than all of us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this workout manenos in the morning. Well, Stephen and yourself, us meat eaters, eh?
I'll take the compliment. I'll take it. So, I mean, for me, it's been so the journey started properly. I'd say about almost 3 years ago. Now the complete vegan journey. However, before that, I mean, I was very conscious with what on what I was eating even then, and it got to a point also I felt like I needed to listen to my body more, because there are many things that I loved, in quotes, to eat. However, they made me feel, in a certain way that I didn't like, and that really affected my gut, my moods, all that. So, for example, something like dairy, I used to take dairy probably almost 5 times a day, because you have your tea in the morning, and then maybe chai up around 10 mid-morning. Then you have like 3 yogurts in between. But then I used to feel so bloated, for a while, and I was wondering what it was, because at that time there's this presumptions of what you're supposed to eat and what society tells you need to eat, so you don't go out of your way to even think or let your body think for itself, and your body take cause of what your body actually needs. Yeah, so that was one of the reasons. And also with my career as well, it got to a point when it was really tasking, when it came to touring and odd hours and all that, traveling every other night. And I needed to be 100%. I needed to be at my optimum. And with just, I kept on researching, got into workouts, of course, but that wasn't enough, because your diet is, when it comes to your overall health, your diet is like, your lifestyle and your diet is something like 80-90%. Workouts are just a supplement. And yeah, I just started switching slowly, took out the dairy, and it's something that it's picking up new habits also, because as I said, it's things that we are taught this is how you're supposed to eat, or even meat has been praised to a point where it's a privilege. So when you're growing up, you have that meat once a week, and now when you start getting your own money, you're like, okay, so the way to treat myself is to have meat every meal, not even every day. Yeah, so in the morning, you have your sausages, and in the lunchtime, you have your chicken. At night, you have meat. And then with time, you realize that, first of all, this is too much. It's too much meat that does not even get digested properly in your system. Meat comes with all, as much as people say they're rich in protein, it comes with all the baggage that it comes with when it comes to really saturated fats, when it comes to a lot of it's just a lot of chemicals in them, lactic acid, all these things that really slow you down, and they don't give you your optimum health. So for me, it was just I wanted to get to my optimum, and I just gave it a try. And there's this time I came from tour, I think it was in America, and the food there is predominantly junk food, and it's not really tasty. So I got to a point where I was getting depressed, and I didn't know why I was getting depressed. And then I realized that what you eat actually has a direct correlation to how your mood is, because the happy hormone, serotonin, is produced in your gut, which means what you eat literally makes you feel how you feel. whether it's happy, sad, excited, it's from what you eat. So I just made a switch in January 3 years ago. That's 2017. So I made that switch and said, you know what, let me just try. After just doing a lot of research and trying to find things by myself, I was like, let me try switch up. And for 10 days, I was off meat completely. I'd gone plant-based. And I kid you not, Makbul, I was feeling like Superman. Like, I felt like I was operating on 60% before, and now I'm on 99. Like clarity of mind, physical ability, the strength. I could run longer, I could lift heavier, I could, sleep better, way better. I was happier. And that feeling, it's like a drug, to be honest. And I was like, I'm not going back. I have to keep researching. And it's a journey that never ends, literally every week I discover something new. I never repeat meals in my house because there's so many meals to make. I end up even forgetting what I cooked 3 months ago. I'm like, oh yeah, there's that exists. So it's just been an amazing journey, and it's also liberating to your mind. Discovering your own way of living and your lifestyle that suits your life and suits your body. It's so liberating. And
there are two things actually, because it's the same thing Stephen was echoing and saying that once you just begin. There's something I asked Stephen because he's single.
Yeah.
And it's been 10 years. So we can see where the problem is. It's not the diet. But how hard was it to convince the missus in terms of switching and the people around you? Because we're not only talking about, it's not something that affects you only. It's everyone around you, because they'll be meat lovers. And our society, we're very together. We're very, all of us, let's have it together. And then the second thing, because I know you're in a rant over there, in a bit of a hurry, is
no, I'm cool actually. I'm cool.
Oh, sorry. There are two schools of thought: vegetarian, and vegan. And I'm glad that I have I have one of each. Sorry,
one of each.
Stephen is the vegetarian, and you're a vegan. So the definition of both and why. But let's start with the missus. How did you convince her?
Well, the thing with this new lifestyle is people see and they believe once they see. So I mean, it's hard to convince. As I said, there's this thinking that we have, stereotype of eating what you're supposed to eat, and you don't really question because you came into this world and people were eating like this, and you do not question, so you just go with the flow. And it's a change. It's a habit change that you have to really get into, and even convincing someone is even harder. But I don't go around convincing people really. I just live by example, and the people can see. So for instance, my wife, being in the same household, we're married for 2 years now, and being in the same household, first of all, it's just the two of us. So I can't make my own meal and then she makes her own. So that's, with time now, of course, she was warming up to the food, and they were like, it was tasting really good. And it was exciting for her as well. And she just got into it. And she's not 100% vegan, by the way.
All right.
She's vegetarian, just like Steve. And once in a while, she can have, now she's pregnant, so she has those cravings for some.
Hey, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is it public knowledge, first of all, or we just...
Yes, it is. It is.
All right.
I believe so. Well, it's out there, so.
All right.
And then also the people around me, when it came to, let's say, my bandmates, for instance, because when we're touring, there are small factors like, okay, what's the diet, and the promoter or whoever is with us at that time needs to know that. And in the beginning, I was by myself. And I didn't want to inconvenience everybody by saying, we can't eat this restaurant, or we can't eat here, So I just had to find my ways to make sure that I get what I need to eat. But then with time now, the boys saw, but my clarity of mind was on another level. My physical ability was really high, and everybody just started warming up. to that. And yeah, and now I can safely say like around I think almost everyone, including our band. So there's my bandmates, the other three, Bien, Chimano, and Savara, are all vegetarian. And yeah, oh, except Chimano. Chimano eats meat once in a while, but Bien and Savara are completely vegetarian. And then also I have now extension now our band, our musicians. Again, three of them are also vegetarian. Our sound engineer is vegetarian. You know, so it goes. People see the value, and people are like,
Yeah.
"Oh wow, this is amazing," and they love it. They feel good about themselves, and that's the most important thing.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Stephen
Yeah.
is very, very happy about this relation story.
Changing the world one by one.
Meanwhile, Andre is putting a beautiful pot belly fashioned by 1824 meat and others. but when I was asking Stephen, that, of course, there's a vegetarian and the vegan aspect of it, and the difference is the biggest differ comes in dairy. So Stephen gave us his take on dairy, which was cringy, but it's his take and what he believes is right. What's your take on dairy and what it adds and why we don't need it or why we need it, and the substitute for B12? Is it Stephen? It's B12, right?
Hello.
That contentious issue, right?
Yes, it is.
What
Yes.
are those? Yeah.
Sorry. Oh yeah. So vegan, vegetarian. So for me, as I what I said even in the beginning, for dairy is, first of all, most of a big percentage of people in the world are lactose intolerant. Yes, they don't know to some level, and I was one of them because I loved milk. I grew up drinking lots of milk and yogurt and maziwa mala and all that. But then with time, when I started listening to my body, I realized that this is not for me, and it makes me bloated. It makes me feel, sleepy and heavy, and there's a lot of acidity in it. So that it wasn't for me. So when it comes to dairy, I believe, well, my beliefs is it's not. First of all, it's not necessary. There's so many wings to it. So number one, there's a lot of marketing also scheme when it comes to dairy, because human beings are the only people who keep taking milk after maybe 3 years old, after you're supposed to stop taking milk. 1 year old even, you're supposed to, because you're taking milk from your mom, because your mom has those nutrients that you need through the milk. Exactly. And after that, you're not supposed to take milk, and worse off, even milk from other animals. It doesn't make sense to even take milk from cows and all that. That's my take. And then number two, the market has been so saturated and so infiltrated by a lot of politics and all this. Like the milk is not pure anymore. That's what I mean. It's not pure as it should be.
Yeah.
So whether it has a lot of water or whatever powder they put in there, it's not the milk that you need. When you go to the stores and pick up a packet of milk, you're not getting your value for money. It's not the milk that you think you're taking. And that really affects you. And then also it's been said that when you're growing up, advertising how milk has calcium that's good for your bones. And, when you're a kid, you're like, yeah, this is what I need to take.
Yeah.
But honestly, all that is bullcrap. It's nothing. There's more calcium in many other things that you already eat. And milk is not, if you don't take milk, it doesn't mean you have brittle bones.
Yeah.
And when it comes to B12, it's a contentious issue, because I've been also doing my own research for a long, long time. And what I've come to the conclusion that B12 is something that everyone is lacking. So everybody lacks B12, whether you're a meat eater, whether you're plant-based and all that. There's a certain level of B12 that you need that you can't quite get from all these foods. And when it comes to plant-based milk, also has B12 in them. So plant-based milk being nut milk from cashews, from macadamias, from
Almonds
almonds and all that has B12. Yeah, so B12 doesn't necessarily mean that plant-based people lack B12. Even meat eaters lack B12. You know, it's just a very rare vitamin to get in your body. However, the good thing is once you get it, it stays within your body for a long time. So it's stored in your, I think in your liver, if I'm not wrong. It's stored in there for a while. So you can literally go months and months without having to consume it because it's in you already.
That is absolutely fantastic. Gentlemen, I've just gone way above my time, but in this conversation, as we were waiting for Polycap. But let's just round it up. And I'll give either of you just a chance to why we should, apart from the obvious reasons of health, but why it's important to change your diet, so to speak. Away from the illnesses and everything. I'll start with you, Stephen. Just your outtake on vegetarianism and advise more so to people who are still on the tangent. Stephen? Stephen, are you there?
Is this going to be one of those?
Yeah, I'll start with you, Polycap.
No worries. What was the question again?
So it was your take, of course, on letting the people know your take on veganism and why and so on and so forth.
So for me, my take. So aside from health, which is the obvious number one reason, and that's what I think. I mean, there's so many benefits to it. So environmental benefits, of course. That's really like at the top of the list, you know, like when I got into the call, I had Stephen talking about morality and animal killing and all that. You know, I am also for that 100%. And I feel that if we eat, first of all, we eat more meat than we should. That's what I always say. I don't really always I'm not there castigating people and telling them you need to stop eating meat. I'm just try and reduce completely, you know, and eat more veggies. And that has a big impact in your health, a big impact in environment, in society. You know, everything is a plus. Everything is a plus. So it just benefits everything, and everything just goes up, you know, on the same level, and they just brush off each other. And yeah, that's the main take. And you feel so much better, trust me. Whoever wants to get on that journey, just give it a shot and you see how you feel. Because also, as I said, the market now is like infiltrated with so many, everything's now a business and everybody wants to make money and everybody's cashing out. So when it comes to breeding of animals to be eaten, it's not the way they should. So the morality, first of all, is all the way down. Then they're fed or they're bred in a way that they need to mature faster than they should naturally. They don't take the natural course. So the meat is not healthy at all. You know, all these things just need to be taken into account when you're trying to change. And
Does this apply to white meat to you as well?
Yes, definitely. Yes. All kinds of meat. It's just, I can't say white meat is a lesser evil. But it's all the same, to be honest, to me. And chicken is bred, for example, is it's horrible.
I know my brothers from Western are not happy about it, but we have to actually look at it. We really have to look at it. And my brothers on the coast as well, who we have fish for breakfast and fish with everything. It's something that we need to look at as well. Just quickly take us through your diet so that people understand that it's not as expensive to take care of yourself on a plant-based diet.
Yes, it's not expensive at all. So let's say, I take so many things, but let's say in the morning, what I usually do is have a smoothie. After my workout, most of the time I do intermittent fasting, meaning my last meal is at 8 p.m. Then dinner break all the way to noon. So my first meal would be a smoothie, which is filled with nutrients. It's a very, very effective way of taking in the nutrients that your body needs, because all that is just like all put in that one smoothie.
So what's in the smoothie?
Sorry?
What's in the smoothie?
So I always balance. I have to have veggies. That's the most important. So it could be spinach, it could be sukuma wiki, it could be lettuce, it could be cucumbers, anything green for the vitamins. And then I have my fruits for energy. It could be bananas, it could be mangoes, pineapples, beetroots are really good for blood flow. And then on top of that, I add seeds. So it could sunflower seeds and what's this, pumpkin seeds, hemp seeds, chia seeds, and then moringa powders, baobab powder, what else? Peanut butter sometimes as well, depending on how I'm feeling or what I need for that day. Yeah, there's a lot. Like I have like maybe 30 recipes for smoothies. Yeah, and then after that, now maybe I can have a simple meal of maybe a salad bowl. That's usually in the evening because I like having light meals in the evening. And then during the day I can have, there's so many meals, like yeah, but it's really and to be honest, but how people say it's expensive,
yeah,
I kid you not, my budget was slashed to half or even less than half sometimes, to half. It just depends on what you're targeting or what you're eating. To half. Keep it simple. We already have so much traditional foods that we already eat that are extremely nutritious. The tereres, the managus, all that, the spinach, sukuma wiki. You know, people don't realize that just having sukuma wiki and even your nice brown ugali is way more nutritious than even adding nyama on top of that. You don't have to have meat. Just make your skuma taste good, because the biggest issue also is vegetables have been so like put on the side and people don't give it as much attention when it comes to cooking as they do to meat. So people be like, it's bland, but it's not. It's not bland at all. It's just how you cook it. And that's what I've come to realize. Yeah.
Awesome, fantastic, and as you say, it's all about the big corporations and institutions who are making us, of course, get in line, as Stephen was saying earlier on, so that we can continue a culture of intoxicating our bodies. But when it comes to dairy, Stephen, you take it because it's, you think of it as, take us through your daily routine, and as well, of course, on the dairy.
Okay. I hope you're getting me clearly, because
there you go. Much better.
Okay. So my routine, basically, I always start my morning with dairy. Two glasses of milk with some spices, either cinnamon or turmeric. I have the privilege of having a farm. So Polycap was talking about slashing his food budget by half. Mine went to zero. So basically what I do every day is I just go into the farm, and whatever is, it's like shopping in the supermarket, right? So whenever I go into the farm, I just look, oh, here are some potatoes, here are some green bananas, here's some lettuce. So I generally come up with my recipe, while I'm in the farm, basking in the sun. I'm thinking, oh, what should I eat for? So basically, most of my starches, I love root vegetables, things like potatoes, sweet potatoes, cassava, bananas. I love green bananas and ripe bananas. I also love a lot of, fruits and light vegetables such as spinach. I read a book from this lady who doesn't cook the same meal ever, never ever cooks the same meal. And I took it as a challenge. So part of my thing is every day I go onto the internet, find a new recipe and prepare whatever it is. And I'm trying as much as possible to learn new things that I can eat. I'd like to just reach out to Polycap just for a minute because...
Of course, Stephen, of course you'd have something to say.
No, I'm reaching out. It's a good thing. I'm not being negative. First of all, I love the fact that most of the Sauti Sol and the band, I'm not a big music fan, but most of Sauti Sol and the band are vegetarians or vegans. But just before you came on, Andre was playing some nursery rhyme based song. And I live next to a school. Almost every day when they go for PE, they have this famous song, and it's mass brainwashing. Nyama, 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 ya kuku, nyama.
Oh my
It
God.
just pisses me off every single time, because they are literally brainwashing the kids,
Yeah.
So my challenge to Sauti Sol, and I love the fact that most of you guys are veg. Why don't you have a count? Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
Go on, sorry. Go on.
Hello?
Stephen, go on. Stephen, connection seems to be...
my whatever is breaking up, my bandwidth is breaking up.
Sorry.
I can't hear what you guys are saying.
Oh, he can't hear us. Can you hear us?
I can't hear you guys.
Oh,
can you hear us clearly now?
I think just go to Polycap or something else, because I really can't hear what you guys are saying.
No, as it is, actually, we've gone over and above. I'll just give you guys just time to wrap it up and give your outtakes, and then we can wrap it up. Polycap, and then we can wrap up.
So for me, I mean, anyone out there who's trying to change their lifestyle, and I think people need to realize also that 80% of the deaths in the world are caused by our lifestyle and how we live and what we eat and how we drink and all that. So even in this situation right now, in the COVID situation, I mean, COVID will get you worse if you have like pre-existing conditions which are caused by your lifestyle. And the great thing about this is they can be reversed, very easily by what you eat and how you live your life, how you exercise and all this. So just take charge right now and you'll enjoy your life. Trust me, like I'm really enjoying my life. I will not kid you that. Like you find more value in yourself, you find more value in things that are not materialistic. And once you're happy within yourself, and that comes a lot from what you take inside, mentally, physically, and all that, it plays a great deal in making you a better person to yourself and to your loved ones. Yeah, so that's for me. Oh yeah, and I have a cooking show, by the way. So whoever wants to saying they don't have recipes, yeah, please check out the show on YouTube. It's called The O's.
Awesome.
All vegan.
Awesome. Fantastic. Stephen, what's your outtake?
Yeah.
Those are your dogs.
I can only hear your dogs.
Man, my dogs don't have manners. Just go on. Go on.
Okay. Just as a parting shot, as we are in this coronavirus pandemic, and honestly, the WHO is such a disappointment. But I really want to say this. The coronavirus, everyone literally accepts it started from, some guy who ate a bat or a pangolin or whatever, right? There's been a precedence. There was swine flu, which came from when guys ate pigs. There was Middle Eastern respiratory syndrome, which came about when some guy ate camel meat. There was bird flu or chicken flu when someone ate a chicken. So there is a precedent for all these things. And right now, the whole world is locked in simply because we don't want to control what we are eating, right? So, and also again, to add to that, it's a lesson that can be learned by the whole world, because literally it's the whole of humanity that is killing the rest of creation. We are cutting down the trees, we are killing the animals, we are polluting the rivers. This is an opportunity for us as human beings to learn that we should live in harmony with the rest of, the world, the plants, the animals, all this. If we don't learn this lesson right now, while we are home, I'm sure you've all seen the videos of the animals roaming free in the cities, the wild animals.
Yeah.
Because we've scared them. We are killers. I generally ask people of a religious disposition, whatever your faith, if God came and put all the creatures and the plants, the rest of creation on one side, and put humanity on the other side, and said to the rest of creation that, these human beings have been praying for peace, and I'm here, I'm ready to grant it. But with a yes or no answer, by their behavior, do humans actually deserve peace? What would the trees say? What would the rivers say? What would the animals and the birds and the fishes say? Clearly not. So we have the UN, they have millions of dollars spent in seminars and all this rubbish, but we have no peace in the world. And that's the main thing. You can literally start being a more peaceful human being by your diet. That's my parting words. Those are my parting words.
Thank you. Stephen Mbuthi, Polycap, Otieno, thank you so very much, guys, for making time and coming to talk to us about this amazing change in lifestyle. It's actually a change in you completely, because as they say, if you go plant-based, within the first 2 weeks, you can actually feel a difference, whether you're suffering from cancer, whether you're suffering from diabetes, whatever it is, you actually can feel it. So make a conscious decision like I've done, and I keep on learning every single day on how I can improve and make this so much better and improve myself as well. And this is what we do on this show, #Amped with Andre, every single Monday morning from 8 to 10. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And of course, if you're reaching out and you want to help out, 07419776655, always the M-Pesa to send something. Because you know what? These are tough times. We do this as something to uplift, but we also do this to ensure that we survive and go on to see another day. Thank you so very much for your time, guys. Stephen, once your book is out, please let us know. We shall push it. And thank you for making time. Always vocal and outspoken. You've inspired me, actually. You inspired me. I told you 10 years ago to start thinking about this. A couple of years ago, I should say. And of course, Polycap, an inspiration to many. Thank you for making time. And of course, Instagram show, the O's, as you've heard, it's all vegan. Find out, I shall be tuning to learn more and switch my diet from constantly having dairy, because I'm thinking that's plant-based, to something more substantial. And of course, congratulations, Polycap, on the amazing, fantastic album. And I'm nonstop on that Midnight Train track. Fantastic. Full support as always from the beginning. Mad love. My brother Andre, kama kawaida. Nashukuru sana. Polycap, sorry. You were saying something. Sorry.
No, I was saying thank you. That's it. Thank you. Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, kabisa. Yeah. And salimia the rest of the gang.
I will.
Yeah. It's been a minute. I remember, for those who are like, Sauti Sola like this, these guys are one of the humblest people from inception. I remember one of the first interviews that I did with them. It was actually the second interview. First interview they did with Chapo. Yeah.
Yes.
And from then to now, still as humble and still supporting you guys. Keep on keeping on. Andre, let's find out if we can live without meat, at least for this week, and see how that goes. You see the face. Sabah al khair, have a fantastic day. I pray and wish everyone has a good week. Let's spread love. That's what we need right now. Cheers.
Wote wa Kenya, kila mtu ame struggle na ko paid for, anytime yako paid for. Revolutionary corporate. cheki shujaa mzee. Damu jasho machozi, kumao wakashinda woma shatu wakaenda na trophy. Matigari hana hata kaploti, serikali nataka nikuze Nairobi. Mangati wanataka wamangishe Jirongi, hawana kofi. They don't know who we be, haikosi. White Highlands no more, sisiri hawatoshi. Hivi temepita rangi ya ngozi, na kabila najua ni mbili tu, maskini na mdosi. So synchronizing time 205, decolonizing man, siseme mbiliki notize wana rhymes, vision za sheti wakifiri. Bogi mato, mtu anatusi matike madha linyonya, alafu anapigiwa makofi za kilo. Washukudono nyanjiro, the same route or rape mama yetu njeri. Hizi ndi beto ya mahiro, ka Kenya ni Matrix, nani ndio niyo. Kake madhi hapa the one, then society ko drunk na opium. Ilo semekana na Karl Marx, na vilabu ni charge, na pay tax kwa karas baby. Na mambanga, mothers can't even protect the babies. Wanaume wezi protect my lady, wow. Haki vengao, vita vya bunduki, kisa mkuki, bullets zivuke nae. Tangu era za nyayo, wanakumanga msee.
Usikate tamaa, wewe ni shujaa. Wewe ni shujaa. Wewe ni shujaa.
Tukiwapasulia pazia tu expose zile ghasia nyufanya, mtatukuta kwetu mtatuvamia. Hiyo ilikuwa last year, nilidhani mtaadisia sense kwa wimbo zenu tubisinzia. Bado mnasinzia this year. Unaweza teta ukishukiwa kimakosa, unaweza tema ukishibishwa uonge mbaya, unaweza hepa ukinusiwa, unaweza tema ukizidiwa. Hakuna haja kujiforce kitu hautaki, unajua vile kwa uenda mgema akisifiwa. Writer mfema aliibiwa na wife yake akarepiwa, na hiyo ndio asanti alipatiwa. Kufanya nini? Kuwatolea ma-idea za kuwasaidia, kuwabadilishia city. Ukuta zote si ni true, kama ngaro ya poko ya kuexpose pati ya juu ya mguu. Ukiandika ma-assassination, ma-sniper maarufu opposite building kwa roof. Mighty zinachwa kwa boots and eye, boots na meza do. Time yako ya kuongea imeisha, maadui wanakuinda na harufu. Kwa ile roho safi na moyo mkunjufu, amunyakei kuanzisha corruption, zero tolerance. Fungulia kesi golden bag na alipewa sati gani? Account iliarishwa design ya kolera. Tushavumilia viboko chini ya maslave master, hadi kupigwa na mayai ya kuoza ka Kenyatta.